Hey everybody, welcome to Couch Dimension, our video games podcast where we're talking about games and gaming news and examining it through a legal, developer, and player lens. I'm TinyBigDude, joined as always by my co-hosts.
Captain?
And Red.
And we've got a great show for you today. We're actually not going to be talking about very much news. We're going to be talking about a lot of just our own thoughts and bullshit. And I'm going to just go ahead and preface this by saying some of you will get angry. And I'm sorry.
Not if you don't say anything stupid.
Well, a lot of... You know what podcast you're on, buddy? So, without...
I don't have anything to worry about. I'm the audience favorite, so...
Red January says that's my secret cap, but your cap here. So, you know, sort of changes the context of the quote a bit, doesn't it?
I didn't really... I mean, I guess it's cool that you're always... You know what? No, it's not cool that you're always angry. Get some therapy.
Yeah, if the Hulk had just gone to therapy. What a concept. Michael Huey, you are correct. It is not a secret if you tell everyone about it. Tell that to Mark Ruffalo.
I was about to say, I will be our captain, pun not intended, for this proverbial jungle cruise. So I'm gonna get started by I actually want to open with what have y'all been playing? What you been up to this week?
Well, I have been continuing to hurt myself by playing GTA 5. I don't actually like GTA 5. Let me just throw that out there. It's not a good game. It's not well made. It's old as shit. And the online is needlessly pandering to microtransactions. And, but it's double money this week for nightclubs, which means that I can go AFK and I can earn money. Except that Rockstar has patched my method of being AFK and has effectively banned me from doing it. So now I'm having to find workarounds. And
I just sniped your ass.
The thing is this. Here's the appeal. Here's why I play a game I don't like. Because I've been trying to figure it out myself. And it's because GTA money is worth real money in a certain context. You can directly translate it. And whenever I play it, and I don't do the microtransactions, I feel like I'm getting one over on Rockstar, even though I'm not by playing their shitty game. The way to get one over on them is to not play it. I know this, but I am not immune to the urge. And so all I will say is that one must imagine Sisyphus happy.
Sorry, I fucking love that post. Yeah. So this is why you just need to start grinding strikes and deaths.
The fact that you think that one must imagine Sisyphus happy is from a post and not from Camus is just... I just had to call that out.
Wait, sorry. I thought you were referring to a thing on Twitter.
No, it's... That joke on Twitter is taken from a work of literature and philosophy that it's about... There's too much to get into the absurdity of existence right now, this early in the show. But just know that is referencing something.
The Twitter post.
Yes, Camus would have tweeted if he could, though. You're correct, Ashy. That is 100% right.
Shit. I will just leave this by saying, no, that Twitter post is something completely different. I'll show you later. It's very funny. It has nothing to do with that. You know what? Go ahead, Red. What have you been playing?
I think one of the games I could talk about may lean into a little bit of what Tiny's also been playing, but I have also been playing a little bit of the new Princess Peach game, Princess Peach Showtime, and I've been playing it with my wife, by which I mean when she doesn't want to play anymore, I play a few levels. It's a very simple game, but I'd say it's pretty fun for one playthrough at least. Like the power-ups are the gameplay is action button, jump button, move. And that's it. No matter what power-up you have, your action just changes. And it it's fun in what the actions are, but it is a very simple game.
Yeah, what kind of game is it? Like a side scroller, like a traditional Mario, or because I've seen bits and pieces, but not enough gameplay.
It's more like the kind of newer Marios where you move left or right, but you have a little bit of depth.
Okay, so kind of like 3D
But
World a little.
yeah, yeah. But it's not like you're not trying to move. You're moving left to right because the next scene, because the whole game is set up like a stage show. The next scene is usually to the right of the room you're in. Though sometimes you'll go back and forth between scenes, but the premise is that evil witch named Grape has taken over the show place and has evil puppets, and you gotta go smash them up and go save everybody as Peach instead of Mario.
That's pretty fun that they gave her own game.
Yeah, and it's totally not sexist like the one before that was about using the power of your powerful emotions.
Oh no, I didn't know they did that.
Yeah, it's a old DS, 3DS one. I think it's DS.
Yeah, you know, that's horrible, obviously very sexist to do, but also I like that it implies that, like, yeah, Mario's macho. He doesn't feel things. I mean, I don't think anyone in the Mario universe feels very much, but, like, just to imagine that he is, like, Tyler Durden Mario is very funny to me.
Sorry, did you say Tyler Durden?
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 Whatever. Tyler, the guy from Fight Club. How about that? How about I just call him Tyler Fight Club?
Tyler Durden works in a mine in the Appalachian region.
Well, Captain, what have you been playing?
We've
bared our souls. It's your turn.
I've been playing a lot of Destiny 2, largely. You know that to a degree, Tiny, because it's been with you and a mutual friend. Trying to get you through some raids and stuff, and I've just been trying to kind of clean up activities, especially ones that might go away, or will be going away, with the new expansion. I got about a month left, but it's been fun getting back into it. Been having a really good time with it. Been trying to multi-class more, and just that game is, I don't know, I can waste so much time in it. It continues to be a good time for me. I've been playing it for like 10 years. Otherwise, a little bit of Baldur's Gate 3. Been trying to keep getting back into that. And Noida as usual, because Noida is a game for people who hate themselves. I love it so much. It kills you. The community just refers to it as getting Noida'd when something kills you that you could have never anticipated. Just out of nowhere. And I've had some very good runs that ended tragically. Usually because I didn't stick to the goal I set for myself, and I went off on a big got sidetracked, then ran into a thing I was definitely out of the weight class to handle. And then ruined my good run. It's a fun game. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Some VR stuff. Oh yeah, there's a thing we all played. DeVigo.
Yeah, I definitely want to talk about DeVigo.
DeVigo is really, really fun. Really enjoyed it. It beat my ass when playing in VR. For anyone who hasn't played, it is a VR game where there's one player in VR who is a giant. You are a floating head with two floating stone head, floating stone hands. So like a Zelda boss. And the other players are PC players who can play for free, and they have rocket launchers, a big hammer, and grappling hooks. And God, that was a good time. That's a really, really fun game.
Yeah,
Um,
if I can follow up a little bit on that, because I played from the giant perspective for the game. And so I was the one in VR. And basically, it is like you were just trying to swat these flies that keep shooting you with rockets. It is incredibly fun. Now, Captain started as the giant, but you see, he, through lack of will, dipped out because he was like, oh no, I'm tired. My arms hurt. And you know what I did? I powered through for 2 hours until my headset battery died, and I'm still sore. This is 3 days later. I couldn't move
I did punch
yesterday.
a wall at one point by accident.
Yeah, I knocked my beer over. I hit a table. It's a lot of fun. It is really good. It is when I was playing it, and you see, Red is a menace because this is the monster hunter over here, the man himself, and I got to feel like what all those poor, pathetic monsters feel like. Which is, I get this man down to one hit, and he is on some fucking crazy bullshit that I cannot possibly beat. Until inevitably he wears me down and I die. So it was really cool to have that sort of feeling of like, I am the boss. I am the challenge. And given I got my ass beat a lot. I think I won 2 matches in the course of 2 hours, and each match lasts like tops 3 minutes. So yeah, I was getting my ass handed to me. It was a lot of fun.
It's really hard when you're on the giant side.
Yeah.
It takes like a lot of you have to stay moving. When I first started, I thought, oh, I'll block most things with my hands. No. You're dodging majority. You can block with your hands, but
Red
you want to
January's-
also be attacking with your hands. So
Red January said, kind of crazy that TinyBigDude's name fits both sides of this game. Yes, correct. And yes, it is a power fantasy. Red January also said the game looks like power fantasy. And it is. But not in the way that you would necessarily think. I think it was more a power fantasy for those guys beating my ass than it was for me getting my ass kicked.
it's we did it. There's so many tactics you can use when you're on the night side of things. Because you can, like, if you jump or hold jump while you're in the air, and you've got a rocket, you can just ride the rocket around. And there's some times, like, Tiny would catch me or swat me away in midair and then think I'm done, but I had a second rocket, and so I just take off again and just wind up hitting him from behind.
Mr. President, a second rocket has hit the Davigo.
It's so fucking good.
Have you ever had a fly in your house and you've tried to like hand-to-hand combat with it? Now imagine that fly is shooting rockets at you. That's what it feels like to be the VR player in Davigo. You think you killed it, and then it pops back up inexplicably, and you're like, I am certain that I smushed you.
How many times did you just watch me run off the cliff on purpose because I'm gonna ride a rocket around the stage to get back to you?
Yep. Now, what is very fun and what is very rewarding in that is that when these assholes are flying rockets around, you just like toss a brick at them and knock them straight out of the air and watch them fall into the abyss. That shit is cool. Now, then they started fucking on me though, because they'd have 2, like Captain alluded to earlier. They'd have 2, so when I hit them out of the air the first time, they just pop a second rocket and they'd come and hit me in the head. But it's awesome. I would love to play it. I might actually at some point try to play it on stream for stream and just have like stream participants be able to join since it's free for the night players. Because I'm thinking this is my new workout routine. It's fantastic.
Sorry, let me pick up again. I was a little distracted by the chat. I think you can see why. So I want to ask. We're done one of these episodes already. Just kind of a chill out thing. Want to hang out? Ask some dumb questions. Or just fun questions. So I'd like to open that with, what's a property or idea you'd like a game made of? Because, and keep in mind, you don't gotta make it like an IP or something. It can just be a thing you always wanted or would like to have. But, that said, I wanted to say, see, I still don't really know what genre of game it would be. The best that you could hope for is RPG, but I don't want to say, like, I want in the Sandman universe, because that's just the DC universe, and we've had those. But Sandman is something special and very different, and, like, very focused on dreamscapes and stuff, and I think a lot of what it encompasses, it would be cool to see that interpreted in a game. But failing that, I just want more games in the genre of whatever you would classify Outer Wilds as, because, like,
Puzzle
one of my
adventure,
top games of all time.
I guess. Puzzle mystery adventure is the tags I would give it on Steam if I had to give it tags on Steam. Outer Wilds.
Yeah. God, it's so good. It not to harp on it for too long, but like the way you are getting pieces of the world, you are having a story told to you in the same messages where you're learning mechanics. They can often be intertwined. And the way that game unfolds its story to you and points you in directions and that feeling of discovery, like it finally having something click. I have never had a game nail that feeling the same.
We actually just had a little impromptu question from Red January in chat that I do want to throw out here. We don't have to answer it now. We can think on it if we need. But if we had tags on Steam, what would they be? And I just think that's very fun. I want to come back to that.
Early access.
Not safe for work. Damn it! Damn it! Well played.
Souls-like.
To the point of my Steam game, not my Steam game. Sorry, I'm getting lost in the sauce here. To the point of my dream game, if I could turn any IP into a game, I've got to go with Cowboy Bebop because I am just waiting for someone to make a really good multiplayer online space game where I can be a bounty hunter or I can be a criminal, and like, I don't know, this has always been my dream game, and I'm not exactly sure if we have the technology to make it work. But like, what if Star Citizen were real? Essentially.
What if Star Citizen were real? It's a great thought.
And when I say Cowboy Bebop game, what I mean is not necessarily the story of Cowboy Bebop, because I think that in itself is such a complete piece of art that I wouldn't necessarily want a video game version of it, but just a game taking place in that universe. I love that universe so much. I love the aesthetic. I love the futuristic mixed with kind of the like manual and analog feel of that show and that world so much. I just want that.
I think one thing that it has, the original Star Wars had, as like a design point, was like, this needs to feel lived in. It doesn't feel, these spaceships and stuff aren't flashy and new. They're used. They're worn. And that makes it, I don't know, makes it feel way cooler.
Yeah, I absolutely agree.
it I don't know. Bebop feels like it's a storied world, and you're just getting glimpses of it.
Absolutely. And it's not, but at the same time, it's still got a fantastical element to it. It's not quite as hard cut and dry as, say, something like the world of The Expanse is. Not that I have anything against The Expanse. I haven't watched it. I tried to. I thought it was really boring and it lost my attention. But I should try again. I know it's supposed to be good. People like it. Don't hate me. Red, I think that leaves you to talk about your dream game.
Yeah, I had two like IPs I'd like to see. A dream there's I dream of a game being made of an IP, and then I dream of a game of the IP. Berserk would be where I dream of a game for the IP because there's some Berserk games out there. But I think I would want either like an RPG or maybe like a Metroidvania Berserk game. Uh where you could either do like an RPG, you could do a non-canon story like every anime video game. Uh and I wouldn't mind if like the Dragon Quest team made a Berserk RPG. I think that'd be pretty cool. They've done pretty good with uh like Dragon Quest 11. It was a very good, very balanced RPG. As far as the Metroidvania, I'm not sure how you do that because there's not that many power-ups, but I just really like Metroidvanias, and I'd love Mercury Steam, the guys that were a part of Samus Returns and Metroid Dread, to make another game.
Cool.
Yeah, no, it. I do have to. Michael Kiwi in chat does make a point, and I want you to brace yourself because let me tell you about this game called Dark Souls. This bitch hasn't played Dark Souls 1. Get his ass. Moving on.
Yeah, people who haven't beaten Dark Souls 1 are stupid and terrible.
I didn't say haven't beaten. I said hadn't played.
If you stopped on the Artorias fight and now can't get to that save file, you're a complete moron and an idiot.
Do it again.
I do need to play it again. I do want to. Which, we might get to that later in some of these questions.
I'll tell you this. Artorias was the guy. He's the most relevant one for you to have been stopped by for Red's game. Because he's the most... He's got the big fucking sword.
He's the Berserk man.
He's the Berserk man. That's guts. What was I gonna say? Nah, I just wanted to give Red shit because he has not played Dark Souls 1 and is
but I when I say RPG, I don't mean an action game. I mean like a turn-by-turn combat style game. There's a rotating cast usually for the big events in Berserk, and I think that would be pretty cool.
Well, fellas, do we want to move into the next topic?
Well, I was gonna give. I know Red had a second one he wanted to bring up.
Oh yeah, by all means.
A game involving some bad dragons.
Absolutely. Prepare your holes. For knowledge, your brain hole, your ears. Aragon would be pretty cool, I think, since Hogwarts Legacy, even though it was a little bit spicy to talk about, it was still a very popular game. And I'd love to see a game similar to that in the Aragon universe that could be maybe like either take place like before the books, when they're like a part of the lead up to the story of the books, or maybe after the books and be able to do its own story.
Shame that Aragon only exists as a movie and didn't have any other media. Anyways.
Yeah, crazy. But yeah, to that point, I would like to see generally someone asset flip the Hogwarts game so that I can play it, because I'm not giving my fucking money to J.K. Rowling. But yeah, so whenever someone inevitably steals that, I'll be here to check it out. It seems like Bully, but with magic, to be honest. I don't know if either of you have ever played Bully. It is a weird game. It is from a strange time. It's a Rockstar
Yeah,
game,
no,
and it is fascinating.
I've seen bits and pieces. I saw you play some of it on stream years ago, and it's a very, very, very weird game. Hogwarts Legacy is actually one of those where, like, I imagine is different if you enjoyed Harry Potter growing. I don't know why it never clicked with me. I'm gonna chalk it up to a teacher really fucked that one up for me, I suppose. Ring it to us. It didn't instill any love for it, but I imagine if you enjoy Harry Potter, you look at Hogwarts Legacy and see some gameplay and stuff you like. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if an asset flip. Now, Magic Boy? No, that's something I can get into. But I want to do some Magic bullshit. But yeah. To move on to a very different thing. I want to ask y'all, what games have you bounced off of, and what the fuck is your problem?
I feel like I answered both of these questions. I feel like I have examples that are specifically to both of these questions.
Fun
Okay.
thing. I've seen this motherfucker's show notes, and I don't think he answered what the fuck his problem was. But to introduce it, let me clarify to everyone else. As an example, I'm gonna go ahead and drop mine because I don't think it's terribly interesting as well, which is FF14 and RTSs on the whole. I like real-time strategy games. I've never been able to truly dig into one. I always bounce off. It becomes a social thing to play with friends where the majority of the matches I'm just losing. But in FF14, I need to give it another try, but when I picked it up, like, I had to change my headspace for that. Like, the closest example I have to, like, an MMO style game is, how to put it? Destiny. But Destiny is far more of a traditional first-person shooter. So, you know, if I want to go somewhere, I walk there. If I want to shoot, I shoot. It feels a little bit more direct. And it's mostly a complete misunderstanding on my part of how the fun of an MMO flow is. I don't know. I mean, if you want to go for another example, I need to give World of Warcraft a try, which I know someone in this chat had me download it, and I need to play this with them. But yeah, those are my examples.
Cool. I have a lot of these, unfortunately. Through the years, mostly things that Captain has recommended to me that I'm like, oh yeah, I'll definitely get around to that, and then never do. My biggest problem is that I have a lack of patience when I play video games. I am very ADHD, and I like to have a thing to do, right? It's why I spend most of my time playing video games of some kind or another, because I like to interact with them. I like to do the things in the game. So my biggest thing is whenever I encounter a very story-heavy game, like, say, the Mass Effect franchise. I played the first one, I played maybe a quarter of the second one, and then I dropped off completely. And it's just because there's this sort of disconnect between the segments where you're actually doing things and fighting and, you know, action is happening, and the segments where you're on the ship and you need to talk to everybody. And you need to be sure you talk to everybody before you go to the next action segment, otherwise you might miss important story bits or opportunities that you're not going to have the chance to get back. So for me, that presents a problem because my brain is in do things mode, and I am playing the story segment of that, and it just doesn't work well for me. I don't know. I bounce off of it pretty easily. This was my biggest issue with Quantum Break, which I did finish, but it did present this problem of half of it is game, half of it is movie. And when I wanted to watch when I wanted to watch the show part, I was like, oh yeah, I want to sit down and watch TV. And when I wanted to play the game part, I was like, I want to play a video game. And it was just kind of frustrating to have them merged in that way for me personally.
I get that.
But that's my thing, is that I want to give these games with fantastic stories a proper go. I just don't have the patience to sit through a 20-minute cutscene. One of the biggest reasons I've also probably never gotten fully into Metal Gear.
I was about to say Metal Gear. Even Metal Gear Solid 1, you're gonna get that. It's 4 is the most egregious. That's why I still say maybe you should give a try to. Sorry, once again distracted by chat because Ashy Crown Sparrowlarks asked what if Larian did a Cowboy Bebop game with their engine, which would be very neat. Anyways, I was going to say. Yeah, I get where you're. Quantum Break is interesting because it was an experimental idea.
Yes, and I'm not.
And I can very much see I get where you're coming from for sure with that. It's interesting. How do you feel about shorter spans of time of okay, they're going to. So, for the Remedy's other games, there's a lot more, here's a thing to read. Does that bother you in the same way? Or are you more okay with reading than watching it?
The thing about reading documents is that typically those are picked up and put into some kind of inventory in most games. And then if I want to go do a big lore session later, I can go do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that is true.
Though, I will say, when I streamed, Fallout New Vegas, I stopped, I read every terminal. I did all of that because that was sort of streaming demands that, but yeah. So to me, it really is. I don't mind lore pickups as much if there's a time outside of the game part of the game that I can go and read those things. I mean, I love one of my favorite mods actually for Elder Scrolls turns every book in the game into an audiobook. So if you're out exploring, you pick up a book. You can have it play to you while you're
really good
walking around. Yeah, it's really good. And it's a great way to ingest lore.
I need that download. I'd use that.
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
I would absolutely do that. I need to get to Red's portion. I just wanted to say, because I'm thinking about Remedy stuff. And hey, this is the day for rambling. I guess now you can determine my game I'm going to have you play. Or the homework will not be Control, but that is a game I'd like your thoughts on today. Of theirs, I mean. Because I wonder if the reading would take you out of it or not. That's one where you can save it all for later, but there are some things where it's if you're reading the entries as you get them, then when things occur, you're like, oh, it's the thing from the entry. So I don't know. It may make a difference. Alan Wake, you definitely want to read those pages in time. But anyways, sidetrack. Red, what about you?
I mean, ones that I bounce off of pretty easy are cozy games like Animal Crossing or Stardew Valley. My wife loves these kinds of games, and a lot of them are multiplayer. But I really wish I would get into them more to be able to play more games with her. But I don't get the same feel-good brain chemicals that other people get from picking grass and buying furniture in these games. I don't know if what exactly the fuck is my problem there.
I actually did a whole write-up when I was the month that I wrote Substack posts, which I genuinely enjoyed, but writing is a lot of work, and I just didn't have time for it. I wrote a whole thing about how I did not like Animal Crossing New Horizons, despite being a huge fan of the rest of the series. And I honestly didn't care for the crafting and gathering elements of that game, so I feel you on the picking grass part.
I think I know part of what it is, and based on what I know about Red, I'd say it's that Red is very goal-oriented in the games he plays, and he likes feeling a bigger feeling of accomplishment. And Animal Crossing, cozy games, they're about taking it slow. It's all journey, not the destination.
Now, I completely disagree with that when it comes to Stardew Valley, because Stardew Valley is about starting up the goddamn jam factory. We're pumping out jam here so that I can make the most money on these vegetables
I never even
and fruits.
got to that
Okay?
point. I gotta
I'm
go
preserving
back. I was actually having
everything.
fun with that
Half
game.
the field is dedicated to the jam barrels, and then I am finding the quickest way to make the most money possible, and then I'm going to stop playing 3 seasons in because I'm richer than God.
See, I think part of it is, at least in my experience with Red, is just like he wants more of an adrenaline rush out of games, and cozy games are pretty antithetical to that.
Maybe.
I feel that. I mean, I play games almost exclusively for the adrenaline rush. That's why I have a hard time with the story-based games.
Yeah.
I think part of it may also be theming. There's one I can't remember the name of them. I know one of them is called Paleo Pines, but there's another one. There's 2 dinosaur-themed ones coming out, and one is raising dinosaurs, and the other one is Animal Crossing, but they're all dinosaurs. And both seem like I might enjoy those anymore. Has absolutely nothing to do with my love of big reptiles.
As she said in chat, I'm sorry, I couldn't let this one slip by. I'd play Animal Crossing if it had a Dark Urge run.
Tom Nook offers you a house, you take his hand.
But I actually liked the original Animal Crossing quite a lot because it was actually way more challenging than the newer one. It was still cozy and it was still fun, but it was also like it had a little bit of a. It was hard to make money. The villagers would be dicks to you. It was great.
I think Cult of the Lamb is Animal Crossing as a dark urge run. I don't know if either of you are aware of that game.
I've heard of it. I haven't tried it.
I think I agree with you.
But that's not. Red, go ahead. Say your piece and have every sniper in this chat trained on you. Go ahead, do it.
Yeah, this is gonna be maybe the contentious.
You know what?
Position.
Before you do, Tiny and I would like to put out a quick disclaimer. Red's views don't represent the podcast. We would like to acknowledge that he is dumb of ass, and yeah, we simply do not agree. Now go ahead and bury yourself.
Yeah, I've tried several times, and I just do not have fun when I play any of the Fallout games that Bethesda has had their fingers in. I haven't tried 1 or 2 yet. I have a feeling I might not like those just based on how old and clunky they may be, but 3 New Vegas and 4 all feel kind of yucky to play. That's where I'm at. Where's the
Expound
to catch my head?
Oh,
when they chop it off?
No, not yet, because I actually have a shovel in hand. Let me read these show notes for not great writing.
It generally doesn't feel like it has great writing. Like the
How
story.
far did you get in any of the games?
I can't get past 2 hours in because it just feels,
that is not enough.
It feels so
not
chunky.
enough to make that declaration.
If the story hasn't hooked you in 2 hours, why would you keep playing any video game?
I think that, okay, I understand if you bounce off of Fallout 3 and to a lesser extent 4. Because Fallout 3 does keep you in that goddamn vault for an hour straight. And it is like an hour-long tutorial. That does suck. I'm not going to apologize for that. New Vegas I will apologize for, because New Vegas puts you right in the middle of it. You can go, you can do what you want to do, and I think that one genuinely has very good writing and is very well thought out. 3 and 4, on the other hand, I do think they have a problem. Again, we've talked about this a little bit before. They have a problem with main story, and with that story being good all the time, but there are nuggets in there, and there are side quests that are truly fantastic.
Yeah, I'll give you. I make in any time I try to venture into these games, I get the furthest in New Vegas out of all of them.
I would like to
Uh,
address Ashy saying, but let's make the distinction between overarching story and dialogue. I don't know what you're talking about. Benny saying, "What in the goddamn" is the best
That's the
dialogue that
line
has
I was thinking
ever
of,
been
too.
in a game.
Let me. I just want to. I do have to interrogate slightly further because I have to ask. Legitimately, how far did you get in 3 New Vegas and 4?
okay, I have played up to maybe 7 or 8 hours in 3 before. I haven't played 3 again in quite a few years, though. That was back on a 360, I think. New Vegas, I get to the dinosaur statue, and the gameplay isn't fun enough
The
for me to keep
dinosaur is
playing.
the first good quest.
Yeah, no,
You're
that-
stopping
that-
right there.
Oh,
That's the first
fuck,
good
you
one.
might get right.
And I genuinely do not enjoy the startup of 4.
Yeah, 4 was kind of hit mid for me too. I don't have any defenses for
It's
that.
no 3, but
Yeah. But like
3 is the worst opening of all 3. Not to say I hate 3, just that opening is slow.
Bethesda's not very good at making guns. And like no, there's not a mechanic in the game that is like very exciting. Like I get the feeling that the games are very quantity over quality, and I'm not saying I'm never that kind of player, but I just don't find myself wanting that in these environments or stories. Because I can play through Skyrim fine, but I don't know. The nuclear wasteland ain't for me, boys.
I mean, I do understand. I always found the environment of the Elder Scrolls, specifically Oblivion, to be superior to that of Fallout. Fallout kind of the grays and the everything kind of bore me a little bit.
That's why I like Fallout. That's why I like Fallout 4 partially. Other than I like the gunplay in Fallout 4. Fallout 4 is the most colorful of all of them. And it's the most vibrant of all the wastelands we've been in.
Yeah, and I mean that is true of 4.
New Vegas has its areas, but a
New
lot
Vegas
of it
ain't much
desert.
to look at, but man, is it something to play and is it something to experience?
Oh, yeah.
I do think that, I mean, gunplay is bad, yes. Hands down, 4 has the best gunplay of any of them.
4 easily is.
However, I will say there is something to not having a good gunplay that is kind of appealing at times, because it isn't just a shooter that you're walking through. It's a puzzle that you're solving. And guns can be an answer, but they don't have to be the answer. They're not your go-to answer. And I feel like if you make the gunplay in anything too smooth and too clean, then players are going to gravitate to gun being the first option when it comes to solving a problem, you know?
So,
And for players that spec into that, that's one thing. But for those that don't, I think that, speech, technology, those kind of those solutions are equally valid. And so I kind of actually like the gunplay not being great sometimes.
what I'm hearing is that this son of a bitch never picked up a ripper. He'd probably run around using fucking pipe pistols. Like a dumbass. Don't use a pipe pistol. Those are for clowns. Use a good gun.
I don't even know what those are.
So in summary, we will be killing Red as a family. The community.
Michael Kiwi says, New Vegas opens on a town where you can be the stranger in town who takes care of business. Fallout 3 opens on you being a literal fucking baby. I don't want to hear it, okay? I don't want to fucking hear it. You want to know the most trite thing you can do in a story? Is start at being a goddamn baby. I'm being restrained. I'm being restrained.
I don't think he was... I don't think that was a criticism. He was saying you're the stranger in town and you're taking care of business. That wasn't a criticism.
I have now been pumped full of Thorazine.
You got mad over agreeing with me.
I guess, like, as far as the combat goes, it feels like I'm having to use my imagination for it to feel fun. Because aside from the moments where you just blow off a man's head, there's not, like, the animations leave a lot to be desired.
Oh, God, you just keep making it worse.
I don't think I am.
What? You know what? Second question. What the fuck is your problem? I don't think animations are very good. Doesn't use bloody mess. What a criminal. Okay. There's no winning here. Only sadness.
I mean, I do think that with any Bethesda game, you are correct at a certain point of like, you are having to meet the game halfway on a lot of things. Because the game is trying to do something that is too big for a game to do. And so your ability and willingness to make some excuses for it is a prerequisite to the fun. So you're not wrong in that regard. Coming as a half-hearted defense.
I appreciate it half-heartedly.
So, yeah.
I imagine someone saying that about a movie, says Ashy Crown Sparrowlocks. I frequently do. I frequently do say that about movies. That, you know, some movies you actually have to engage with more than others.
Okay.
I told you this is going to be an episode where we make everybody mad.
Not me. I'm a darling. Everybody loves me. I took a man to task for his trash taste.
Okay, it appears I misrepresented the views of Ashy Crown. I apologize.
I'm seeing Michael QE say that I love Cyberpunk, and I'm saying these animations ain't it for Fallout. And I'm gonna contend that Cyberpunk has much cooler animations.
I did also enjoy the man T-pose on back of the bike with his ass out.
Absolutely.
So this is to step into the next question. Genres you like to get into, or what are some genres you'd like to get into? And my answer is MMOs and RTSs. Done. Same answer as the last one. No, I genuinely need to sit down with like an RTS sometime and like go through a main campaign proper. I always bounce off of it after a while. I've played the beginning of Halo Wars 1 like 4 times. I get a few missions in and then I don't know. It hasn't clicked yet. But game that I always... It doesn't mean I don't like them. Like, I have fun. Something's not clicking yet. And the best example of, like, where that happened to me and it did eventually click would be Souls games. I bounced off Souls so many times before it made sense. Like, the fun of it made sense, and then, you know, then I'm in. So, and MMOs, like, everybody loves FF14, that or WoW or something. I need to give a legitimate try.
I think part of the issue
What
with
about
Final
you?
Fantasy 14 is it's not very easy to play the story with your friends. And for a lot of MMOs, like playing games online, that's where a lot of the fun is. And a lot of the early content is single player only. And that I think that is a huge barrier to entry for more people than it recognizes. But for me, crafting games like Minecraft, I try a few times. Yeah, but definitely more people are playing this as groups. They're inherently cooperative. I'd love to have more fun with my friends, but I keep trying and I keep failing. It's not clicked.
Well, in the nearest future, you might get your chance again, because I occasionally run a Minecraft server, and I'm probably going to... Next time I try running it, I might open it up to listeners of the podcast. So,
Red, you and I think, have very similar tastes in a lot of ways, because I'm the same way. I want to like survival crafting. I got a buddy running a Valheim server right now. Little Brown Bro on Twitch, check him out. And I want to play it with him. I want to have fun, but I just can't. I think that we are similar because I think we both like fast-paced, frenetic gameplay, and that we get impatient if a game isn't that. I mean, that's speaking for myself, but I don't know if you agree with that statement or not.
I agree with it to a point. I think for me, maybe more so than you, is definitely like setting and theming. Like, anything kind of medieval swords and armor and dragons and big monsters and stuff will have an easier time winning me over than Nuclear Wasteland.
Yeah, yeah. I think actually probably one of the reasons that I actually like Fallout, not to relitigate that entire discussion, it is a game that I played as a kid. It was one of my first open world games, and blowing people up while you're wearing power armor is a very fun time for a 13-year-old. So there's probably a certain amount of nostalgia mixed in there.
Look, blowing people up in power armor as a 32-year-old still fucking slaps. You can punch things so hard.
But I'd like to just throw out my answer for this real quick, and that is fighting games. They will forever be my white whale. And then also, like, indie isometric and 2D RPGs are also up there as things that I desperately want to be able to enjoy, but I just can't get past. And I think it comes back to the same ADHD problem that I've got with all this shit that has been a through line of my discussion here today, and that is just that I don't have the patience to learn the mechanics. I don't have the patience to learn the game. I want someone to possess me and play the first 10 hours and then let me retake control with all of the knowledge and enjoy the game from that point forward. But learning and getting to that point is very frustrating for me.
You know, open invitation to this day. I didn't include it, but fighting games are kind of my white whale. And I have Guilty Gear on Steam. So the biggest thing for me is I don't like faceless opponents. Rhett and I talked about it for the longest time, and with Smash for the longest time, it's how it worked between me and you, which is my biggest motivator for learning more about the game was playing against you. I need a rival. It's just a friendly rivalry to kind of keep me engaged and wanting to learn more about the game.
Yeah, it's always fun to have I did play a lot of Smash. That's why fighting games are my white whale, because Smash isn't a real fighting game, and I want to know what a real one's like. I want to know what it's like to be good at a real fighting game.
Well, if you ever want to borrow from a bigger streamer, Woolly Wools, find a game that appeals to you visually, or just appeals to you. Doesn't matter. Someone says it's too hard not to start there. Even when choosing a character, people tell you that. You pick the thing that grabs you. That's the most important thing. You don't play a game. It's been said by other people in the fighting game community. You don't play a game. You don't start at a lesser character to play the more complex one you want to get to. Just start with the complex character. It'll hurt, but you'll be way more likely to stick with.
Yeah, it's honestly, when it comes to that, it then becomes more an issue of time investment. And
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
I'm
But, to Ashy Crown's point, but then how do you broaden your horizons? That is a difficult question. I would love to know. I would love to know how to broaden my horizons. I want to. I just don't have every time I sit down, I boot up fucking GTA Online so that I can try to stick it to Rockstar. I need to have the ability to sit down and focus on something that I'm unfamiliar with. But anyways.
I'll tell you how he broadens his horizons, Ashy. It's, Sorry, Michael Huey is fucking me up. I have to disagree.
I don't think we can read that one on stream.
He broadens his horizons through. I occasionally bring him a thing of, dude, you gotta give this a try. And 2, he will do the homework on the game I signed this week for a video game book club, and then we'll continue that monthly.
Speaking of which, it looks like we've got about 5 minutes left in the show.
Yeah, I was going to say, sorry, a lot of this ran long, and I had some other questions in here.
There's some stuff I really wanted to get to. In fact, we got to all the things that I didn't really care about as much, which kind of sucks. But I think we got time to do this Tarkov one, maybe. Wrap it up with that. I don't
You
know.
know what? I didn't mean to get around the ones you cared about more. I just kind of went in the order I had come up with the questions.
And that's fine. I'm not pointing any fingers. But
You didn't
yeah,
have
well,
to.
now
I
chat's
tried
asked,
to.
so I think we have to answer about what do we mean by Tarkov question.
Oh
Captain.
that Ashley is asking Tarkovsky.
Oh.
Um,
Yep, I just glanced at that. You were correct.
I will say, we don't have a whole lot of time left. I think pick the question you most want to answer, and we will go with that.
Well, now at this point, man, we're just burning time here, huh?
Just follow your heart. Just pick one.
Let's just go with the Tarkov thing. Let's just do that.
Okay.
Okay,
sorry.
Yeah.
I thought since you picked it, you're gonna roll with it. I got it. Tarkov has shot itself in the face for reasons we might get to on next week's podcast. Its community is rapidly losing faith in it. And this is largely just due to the head of the company's dumb decision.
Yeah, if I can briefly capsulize what's going on with it, as far as a conversation I've had that is just a casual conversation with a friend, it could be wrong. But my understanding is that there was a supporter version of the game that was $150, and they told you that if you bought it, all future DLC would be free. And now that is not true, and there's a $250 version of the game that's essentially pay to win. And so people hate that because it sucks.
Yeah, roughly. Yeah. And so my question is, can you do worse? How do you kill a game with a terrible business decision?
I have a great answer for this, I think. How about we take a game that is needlessly about grinding for money, that introduces passive mechanics that allow players to earn small amounts of money over time, and then you could say for double the amount of money that you could make from those passive things for just a week, and then you start banning players for going AFK and earning the AFK passive money that you made. Wouldn't that be fun? I've received another shout of Thorazine. I'm sorry about my outburst. That was about my problems with GTA 5, and that is unrelated to my actual answer to this question. That was a fake out. I'm sorry. In all seriousness, there are a million ways to ruin a game. Let's be honest, it's not hard to do. But most of the time, those games either have small communities that enjoy them or are ruined on launch. Tarkov and Redfall being the obvious examples. So, for my answer, I want to focus on a game that's actually good, that people actually really like, that had mass appeal, and figure out how we tear this motherfucker down. So let's ruin Baldur's Gate 3. So, now I think that in any of these scenarios, the lazy answer to this, which I hope is not either of y'all's answers, I'm sorry if I've just insulted you. You know, any time you could say, oh, put the microtransactions on the ammo. And yeah, that would ruin a game. That would ruin any game, right? So you could microtransact abilities or whatever, lives, but I don't think that's an interesting answer. So to ruin a game, I think we have to look at what makes it good. I'm sorry I'm going on for a bit here. This is why I wanted to get to this earlier. I'm sorry. To ruin a game that is good, we have to attack what makes it good, which in Baldur's Gate, I think is this idea of lasting consequence and chance, and that your decisions matter. So, we need to offer either a microtransaction or pre-order bonus that gives your character the ability to do whatever the hell they want with no consequences. Do you want to join one faction without pissing off another? If you use the cloak of $40 microtransaction, no problem. Go ahead. Your actions will have no impact on what people think about you. Do you want to fuck all the characters and be able to do that with no one being mad? The cowl of being a huge mark is the tool for you. And so, to me, this ability to nullify player choice would ruin the game, and I assure you that despite the fact that it would be genuinely terrible to do and take all of the gravity out of Baldur's Gate 3, there are a million people out there save scumming right now that would gladly buy it. And that is how I ruin Baldur's Gate. That was 4 minutes. I didn't realize it was going to be that long.
I like your idea, but I think maybe it has
Michael
to be
Kiwi had
DLC.
removed the dialogue choices and only allow 4 options. Yes, no, sarcastic, and closed menu. Do you mean Mass Effect?
No, he's referring to Fallout 4, which I do want to... ties back in. Quick clarification. I think the writing can be good in spots in Fallout 4. New Vegas is where I really stand by the writing. But, need to clarify that matter. But, because of that, that does tie into my answer, which is, I think I want to take the lead writer of Fallout 4 and have him write an expansion or DLC for Baldur's Gate. Maybe free DLC so it can be integrated in and you can't remove it. Because, on a whim, he decided to add some lore to Fallout 4 that made the main character a war criminal.
I think you talked about that a little bit last week.
He's the best writer.
I do think, too, though, that you have taken this question, and you didn't just say, how do I ruin the game? You said specifically, how do I ruin the game for Red?
Don't worry, he'll ruin it for me too. But I like the idea of it being a free add-on that's integrated automatically, so it's far more difficult to to remove it.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. If you're gonna irreparably fuck up a game, it cannot be optional. What do you two have, though?
I mean, I don't have a jokey answer. So Pokemon has versions, right? Think about Red and Blue and Gold and Silver. That doesn't really work for games today that aren't Pokemon. There were other games that did it, but they're not really around anymore. Take any popular first-person shooter game and give it versions where you can only use certain guns in that version of the game, effectively turning a $70 game into a $140 game.
Okay, you have actually rediscovered map packs to a certain degree, because if you remember, first-person shooters prior to modern times, games like Battlefield 3, Bad Company 2, and the older Call of Duties had map packs, so if you wanted to play on the DLC levels, you had to buy the map pack. The problem being that much of the community didn't do this, and so if you spent the extra $40 or whatever to be able to play on those maps, there was almost no one to play with because most everyone just had the base game, which isn't exactly what you're talking about, but yes, it would ruin the game.
Yeah, and since this would be from the beginning of a game, you would just be, there would be basically one version of the game, but there would be different, you could only use certain weapons based on what version you're playing. And I think
all
that would
shotgun
be a terrible
build.
game.
I like it. That's dog shit. Captain?
I'm just remembering how bad it was when some Destiny weapons were console specific. Back when Sony had...
shit, I forgot about that.
Yeah, they'd have an exclusive for a year.
That was pre-crossplay, right?
Yeah, this is way back in Destiny. That would have been really fucked up. So I guess, yeah, we are running low on time. So some things I do kind of want to revisit in the future. If anything, we'll get to them on a future.
Yeah. I want to save. I didn't write a whole. You'd think that what I just said for this was long. I've got a longer one, and I'm saving it for next time. Next month, it's happening.
And we had some submitted questions that I do want to get to.
Shit! I didn't even realize. Yeah, we absolutely need to get to those. I've got good answers for those too.
So it is what it is. We'll get to it. I'm not going to complain too much about having some work done for me for the next one.
Yeah.
But
that episode
I want
pretty much
to
writes
introduce
itself.
a video game book club. Is that name stupid? Absolutely it is.
We should clarify, he's not talking about how to ruin a video game. We've moved past that. This is the next segment.
No, Video Game Book Club is where we only read the novelized versions of games.
Ooh, the Halo books.
Halo is a slog. Wait. No, I stand by that. I'll stand by that. I'll get some weird nerds mad at me, but not enough to ruin my state of podcast darling. So I am first up. I'm going to give us all a game to play, or in my case, revisit. And we'll reconvene on this in a month's time. And I encourage anyone who has an interest in chat or maybe listening to this, check it out. Hey, if you're listening to them in the past, you can still do it. And just jump ahead to that other episode in the future, also past for you. My game is going to be Prey from Arcane. Not to be confused with the other game called Prey that is actually story-wise completely unrelated. It is an immersive sim. It's on Game Pass. And it is really fun. I really enjoy it, and I kind of want to get your thoughts on it.
Cool.
I, at one point, was thinking about Doom, but I realized that Prey is the type of game that we could all have a very different experience based on some of our choices. And there's just some cool things that game does. I think it's fairly underrated. And yeah, I think it's worth a try.
Cool.
Bonus points to anyone who checks out the DLC Moon Crash, which is kind of like a roguelike style mode.
I'm excited because my answer to, not to spoil anything, one of our questions submitted by the wonderful Ashley Crown Sparrowlarks was about what kind of games we would like to see come back and be revitalized, and my answer was going to be immersive sims. So I'm excited to play this immersive sim.
Now, keep in mind, this one is very combat focused, but it is, by all accounts, an immersive sim.
Cool. I'm excited.
Yeah, it's one of those where you've got different ways to deal with problems. Shit. And I will tell you, if you enjoy this one, I'm going to go ahead and shout out the other game I was considering the immersive sim genre, but it is not on Game Pass and it is not discounted, which is the remake of System Shock on Steam.
Cool.
It's got very cool art style to it.
Which I should point out, our criteria for this book club, we talked about it. Games that are on Game Pass or less than $15 on Steam, on sale or whatever. So, if you have suggestions that you want us to play, feel free to send them to the email, thecouchdimension@gmail.com, and we'll consider them for our, rotating list. Well, is that...
need to ban one of our most faithful listeners? Because Ashley Crown Sparrowlarks did say Doom was better as a movie?
Oof.
Well, I told everyone, I put in the Go Live notification that the opinions expressed in this episode would make you angry. And I hope that I've pissed you off at least once, or that our chat, or that one of my co-hosts has. I think that we have done it. I think we've successfully made a good video games podcast based around discussion, and we've managed to make every single person listening to this angry in at least one way.
No, Ashley's making me angry. How dare you? How dare you?
I think we should do a watch party. Twitch will ban me, but I think we should maybe in the Discord do a watch party.
I'm going to... One final thing I will bring up in regards to the video game book club idea is that I encourage either, if not both of you, if you get the chance, feel free to stream it. The game, if I remember, doesn't have any copyright music.
Cool. Yeah, I do want to actually make streaming games a big part of this channel again. Obviously, we're all people with jobs or between jobs that will soon have jobs again. Sorry, I started to say that, and I was like, oh, wait, shit. So employed or soon to be employed. And so I'm trying to figure out how to make that work with my schedule, but I do want to do it. And so, be on the lookout for that Go Live notification. It might happen. Well, that's our show. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Captain, where can our hordes of fans find us?
Well, you can find us on YouTube at TinyBigDude, as well as on podcast platforms Spotify, Apple, and Amazon by searching Couch Dimension.
Flawless.
You can also find us on Twitch every Tuesday at 5:15 p.m. Central Standard Time, because we are trapped here by a wizard.